Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How is everyone doing? It's actually just past 3 a.m. I was meant to record this video like 2 hours ago, but my daughters were not just going to sleep. We've moved to Medina and the routine is all over the place, hence why I'm making this video at this time as well. And but alhamdulillah, finally got around to this. I've been meaning to make it for months, and shaitan, shaitan, he's always present. So he's that's what I think anyway. I think I've been delayed because I hope this video benefits you. That's the ultimate aim, and I think it will. I think it will if you listen with an open mind and you have the zeal and enthusiasm. And if you're watching this, you do, then you will achieve high levels, inshallah. So, as the title says, here are my 5 memorization tips in relation to the Holy Quran. So you can use these tips though. So currently memorizing mutun. So at-Tuhfatu Samanudiyya, Shatibiyya, and this kind of thing. So my mindset is coming from that angle, but it's the same sort of advice that I would have given if I was doing HIFTH. So mutun, HIFTH, same sort of thing, okay? And some say that mutun, Arabic text, Arabic poetry, is more difficult than the Quran in some ways, okay? So yeah, these are my 5 memorization tips. Listen to each one and take on board whatever you find relevant. So the first is the best time to memorize without a shadow of doubt, with absolute certainty. The best time to memorize is straight after Fajr. Okay, the barakah and the rizq is in that time, straight after Salatul Fajr. Now, the first thing is you need to be waking up for Salatul Fajr. So just remember that the 5 daily prayers, and this is a reminder to myself to begin with. Everything I'm saying, or any advice sort of thing that I give, is for myself, So the first thing is you should be waking up for Salatul Fajr, because that's more important than becoming Hafidh. And then once you wake up, you need to straight away get into the memorization. So you do your adhkar after Salatul Fajr, and you straight away get into your memorization of your new sabaq, your new poetry, whatever it is, your new sabaq. We'll keep the focus towards Hifdhul Quran, but yeah, it's one of them things where it applies all over the place. So you need to start straight after Fajr. You do your morning adhkar and then you start your memorization. The reason we say straight after Fajr is many. Okay, from my own experience, I know that if I don't memorize after Salatul Fajr, then I'm not memorizing anything new that day. Why? Because lessons, work, family, other commitments, and as the day goes on, your mind starts to be preoccupied. New things come up, new headaches, new tasks, and your mind gets weaker and weaker throughout the day. By the time you Salatul Maghrib, for example, your mind is tired. How can you memorize? So you need to make the effort straight after Salatul Fajr. So as I say, waking up for Salatul Fajr. And in order to do this though, because most of us, including myself, after Salatul Fajr, we go straight back into bed. And wallahi, it's the best sleep ever. The sleep after praying Salatul Fajr, the best sleep ever, I always say, is after you've prayed Salatul Fajr, you have the best sleep ever. And we all want that. But that's where you have to have discipline, and you need to fight yourself. Okay, you have to fight yourself. If you want to achieve this great status of being Hafidh, you need to fight yourself and go through these sacrifices. Nothing worth having in life comes easy. And the status of a Hafidhul Quran, or Hafidhatul Quran, if you're a woman, is one of the greatest achievements, or probably is the greatest achievement. It's a massive achievement. So we have to fight that sweet sleep after Salatul Fajr, and we have to start memorizing. That's the best time. Most of our the rizq is after Fajr, is gone in sleeping, unfortunately. So straight after Salatul Fajr, you sit there, you sit in the masjid, or you sit at home, you sit on your bed, wherever, but you're completely focused and you're memorizing. So these are 5 memorizations. This is the first one. I'll be talking about how exactly to memorize in 3 and 4. Number two, the second piece of advice, which I think is extremely important. This one is like the Fajr one. It's like, okay, if you can't do it after Fajr, then you do it after Dhuhr, for example, or you do it later on during the day. Obviously, it's not the best time. The best time is after Fajr. But this one is like there's no you can't sacrifice that. There's no two ways about this. It's either you do this or you don't. That's all it is. And what that is especially in this day and age, and especially for the younger students, is there should be no phone or no device anywhere in the room. So in the room that you're revising or you're memorizing, there should be no phone, no device, no distractions whatsoever. If you're in the masjid, don't take your phone with you to the masjid. If you've gone to madrasa, don't take your phone with you to madrasa. I'm telling you now, 100%, 200%, 1000%, it's not possible for you to memorize if you have a device around you. And you know what, like, I'm not extreme. I'm not an extreme guy. But this is fact. This is truth. Okay, if you want to achieve in life, and memorizing is not easy on the mind, you cannot have these distractions. These distractions, you'll be thinking, did I just get a vibration? Or the phone will flash, or you'll remember like 100 things that I need to check. Let me quickly check the football score, or let me check what the score was yesterday. Let me quickly check my email. All this can only happen, these distractions only happen if the phone is with you. Wallahi, when the phone is not with you, you will realize and you will notice that your memorization is a lot easier, but a lot quicker as well. So effectively, you're just being efficient. You're just saving yourself time. Why would you? Well, I don't understand why you wouldn't want to do that. So no phone, no device, and that means obviously no social medias around you, no emails, no WhatsApp. All these time-wasting activities cannot be there around you when you are looking to memorize the Quran. Okay, these are high levels, and you have to treat it like that, and you have to have the discipline. As I say, nothing in life worth having comes easy, and therefore that means discipline and sacrifice. So no phone should be anywhere near you. It should be, and even like when I say like, it shouldn't be like, okay, I'm sitting here and the phone is there, like I can see it. I'm keep looking. The temptation is there. It should be in a place like, for example, if I'm in this room, it should be outside in the car, or it should, for example, be like in the last room or downstairs, for example. So this is extremely important. You can take this advice or leave it, but I'm telling you now, you will see a difference. And do this for a few days consecutively, and inshallah, you will thank me for this. But I don't want you to thank me. I want you to make dua for me, inshallah, for this, for perhaps pushing me in the right direction on this. But you know what? You're just helping yourself. Your memorization will become easier. Okay, no distractions. Tip or point number 3 is, okay, so this memorization tip is the actual, how I sort of memorize. This is the actual, like, memorizing. So what I do is I constantly repeat. So if something new comes up, so let's just say like I memorize 7 lines a day or 10 lines a day, okay, I'll start reading. Okay, so you have to read. Really and truly starts the night before, but we'll come to that later. But if it doesn't start the night before, it's fine as well. You start reading the new bit. Now, the first time you read, the very first time that you read that page or those few lines, you have to put your finger. This might, like, don't think like, I'm treating you like a kid, or I'm saying stuff like you're meant to do as kids. There's no there's no level. We're all in one category. You put your finger and you read with full concentration. You read every single letter, every single word, so you don't make the mistake. You don't make any mistakes. You read slowly. You've done that once, okay? I would even probably say 3 times, but if you do it once, it's good. You then just start reading and repeating. Wallahi, for me, people have all these, methodologies and stuff like that in terms of memorizing. My methodology is constant repetition. That's all HIFTH is. You have to constantly repeat. 10 times, 20 times, 50 times, 100 times. Now, I don't say you should count. Like for example, Sheikh Abdul Muhsin Al-Qasim, he has this introduction where he explains how you should memorize. And he says that, okay, you do this 20 times, this 20 times. And I tried it out and it's good. And you pick whatever works for you. But for me, that whole 20 thing, like you end up like counting too much. There's too much mind space, too much headspace is going on, like 1, 2, 3. For me, it's just constant repetition. And this works in the sense that each individual is on a different level. So listen to the next bit. So you're constantly repeating. Now you're looking in and you're repeating. Now, as you start repeating more and more, you'll quickly realize that you're starting to pick up on a few words and a few lines here there. Okay. So whenever you do start picking up, you're starting to look out now. Okay. So you're reading, you're still repeating. We might even be on. So now each individual is different, right? So someone might be on line the 10th time. Obviously, we're not counting, but I'm just saying you might be on your 10th time and now you're starting to pick up some words, or you might be on your 50th time and you're picking up some bits. So now you're picking up, okay? You're picking up. So first you were reading, looking in 100%. That was the first time you read. You were looking inside 100%. As time goes on, as you constantly repeating and you're picking up words here, there, as you start picking up words here and there, as you start picking up words, the percentage is changing now. Now you're looking inside 90%, but 10% you've started to memorize. Okay, so now like for example, I'm saying, I'm looking in, قال الملأ الذين استكبروا من قومه لنخرجنك يا شعيب والذين آمنوا معك من قريتنا. Oh yeah, I remembered. أو لتعودن, or is it في ملتنا? And then I remember that little bit. قال أولو كنا كارهين. And then قد افترينا على الله كذبا. Does that make sense? I should use this Quran, this Mus'haf. قال يا هارون ما منعك إذ رأيتهم ضلوا. So I knew the end of رأيتهم ضلوا. And then I forgot what the beginning of the next verse was. So I said, ألا تتبعن أفعصيت, is it أمري? Yeah, أفعصيت أمري. قال يا ابن أم لا تأخذ بلحيتي ولا برأسي إني خشيت أن تقول فرقت بين بني إسرائيل. We know بني إسرائيل. Okay, ولم ترقب قولي. So you're starting to pick up and the percentage is now changing. You're starting to move from 100 down to 90, then 60, and then now you're memorizing now. You've moved down. It's not even 50-50 anymore. You're looking inside 40% and 60%. You're reading by heart. So the tables have turned. Now I just want to make a very clear point here. Okay, don't be too hard on yourself. There'll be times where you've repeated and you're just not getting it. It's just not happening. You're just not passing that 50% mark. Okay. And this is me until very recently. I used to be like, oh, this is too much, man. Like you start getting annoyed, you're getting frustrated, you're not happy, you're angry with yourself. You're like, what is happening? This is taking too long. Don't for a second be disappointed or angry at yourself. Why? Because we come to human biology or human psychology, whatever you want to call it. And in terms of, the mind and the memory, I guarantee you, wallahi, the next day, you'll know it inside out, or the day after, that. So at some point, and time flies, at some point, you will know it. So it doesn't have to be that you start to memorize that and you have to know it straight away. Okay, there's no necessity there. So I was going to say, once you come like close to that 50%, yeah, so if 70%, 70-30, where 70% you're looking in, 30% you're reading, it depends on your time as well, how much time you have. But then that's it, you can call it a day. It doesn't have to be 100% in that one sitting after Fajr. Okay, so that's my method of memorization. I'll never be too hard on myself anymore, because I know for sure that the next day I'm going to know it, and in a week's time it won't have even mattered, because that's just old sabak, and that's like part of my revision. It's just nothing. I know it inside out. So that's the third point. The fourth point is related, but it comes more to that HIFTH and memorization is for the whole day. It's like it takes over your whole life. I'm sorry to say, but I'm not sorry as well, because that's where all the rewards are coming from, inshallah, in this life and the hereafter. So you need to know that it will take over a lot of your headspace, and constantly now you're at that 70-30 level, 60-40, 50-50. During the day, just spend whatever time you have to just, go through it. Carry a small mini mushaf, or you have it on your phone. Just keep going through it whenever you can. No one's saying to be extreme and, constantly the whole day. No one's saying to be extreme. There's no need for that. But then the fourth point effectively is that later on during the day, you need to basically, this tea is going to get cold, 1 sec. Some point later on during the day, so for me, it's usually between Maghrib and Isha. When I go to Masjid al-Nabawi, or try to, if I don't, to be honest, it's not happening. But that's when I revise what I've memorized in the morning, and most of the time I know it. Okay, everyone's on different levels. Okay, everyone has different capabilities, different capacity. We've all been made different. We have different responsibilities. We have different things going on in our lives. So as I say, it's not like by the evening when you're revising, you've memorized that bit. It can be the next day, it can be the day after. But there has to be a time later on during the day where you repeat and you revise what you memorized in the morning, and try to read to someone. It doesn't have to be your teacher. It can just be a friend, your wife, your daughter, your son, your mother, your father, your friend, or just send a voice note to someone. Just read it and send a voice note to someone, so that's the memorizing stage. And that's where you also prepare for tomorrow. So when I said the first time you read is 100% looking in with your finger, really and truly, ideally, you want to do that the night before and do it 3 times. So read your tomorrow's sabaq 3 times the night before, or the session before. So whether it's between Maghrib and Isha, whether it's before you go to bed, whether it's after Isha, after Asr, after school, before, after, dinner. Make sure you read tomorrow's looking in with your finger. Finger is very important. Why? Because there's something mentally, something psychology. I have no idea what it is, but I know that when you put your finger and read, and it has to be from the mushaf. It can't be from the phone. It cannot be from the phone. There's different. There's a world of difference that you might not understand. You might think I'm talking rubbish, but I'm telling you now, there's a world of difference when you're reading with the mushaf, physical, paper, finger, pen, whatever. Then on your phone you're scrolling. There's a world of difference. It's something to do with the connection, with the connection with the words of Allah, connection with feeling the spiritual vibes. But if I'm just here and I say فَمَا لَكُمْ فِي الْمُنَافِقِينَ, so I'm just saying فَمَا لَكُمْ فِي الْمُنَافِقِينَ فِئَتَيْنِ وَاللَّهُ. But if I'm pointing my finger, فَمَا لَكُمْ فِي الْمُنَافِقِينَ فِئَتَيْنِ وَاللَّهُ أَرْكَسَهُمْ بِمَا كَسَبُوا. Now there's a connection going on. I'm telling you now, there's a deep connection happening, and I think this brings you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I hope it does, inshallah. So the night before you need to read, looking in, try to listen to a Quran reciter, try to listen to someone, try to listen to me as well if you want. We can share in the rewards, but you can listen to any Quran reciter, and that's more for the whole tajweed aspect. Am I making any mistakes? Did I not pick up something? Reading slow, tune. I think tajweed is the key focus there. So you want to, that for them first few times you read, you want to be reading every word, every letter clearly, so that when you do go on to memorize, you've memorized it correctly. Why? Because one of the big issues, and I used to have this issue, and many people have this issue, is they've memorized from the start incorrectly. So years later, when they're trying to correct the mistake, it's like 20 times difficult. So listen to a reciter, read with your finger, looking in, and watch how that makes a world of difference for tomorrow morning after Fajr. And it already sort of gets you in the mindset for tomorrow. You've got a goal now. You've sort of prepared your mind. Mentally, you prepared that. Look, I've been through this last night. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to bang it out. I'm going to smash it out. It's going to be easy. You have to wake up. You have to wake up for Salatul Fajr, Salatul Tahajjud as well if you can. But, one step at a time. Let's not be heroes. We're talking about HIFTH here. But yeah, do make dua in Salatul Tahajjud if you do wake up. And Salatul Tahajjud, it doesn't have to be like, sometimes we think, when we say reading Salatul Tahajjud, it has to be every single day of the year. Well, even if you do it like once a week, it's still a massive achievement, better than 95% of people, you could say. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will see your efforts, and then the next morning you wake up, and then you're already in the zone. You've got a head start from last night in terms of your memorizing. So that's when it just comes to repeating. You'll find yourself, picking up more than you're looking in now. Then it becomes 50-50, and then 40 looking in, 60 memorized, and then that's it. And then, when you do memorize the new sabak, just try to read the last 1, 2, 3 sabaks as well. Just read them together once at least, and then just memorize your new bit. So these are all additional points. Point number 5 is extremely important. This is probably for those a little bit older. So I would say, it just depends what age. Obviously, honestly, society today, I know the younger generation, I'm talking about those between the age of 8 and 25, you've got it completely different to how we had it. You've got social media in front of you. You've got 20 apps that you need to keep up with. And it's not easy for the mind. Okay, social media and, watching movies, listening to music, all these things is not good for the mind because it takes up your headspace. It takes up your memory. So what I was going to say in the point number 5 is keep your mind clear from sins. Very important. It makes your HIFTH easier and more efficient, so therefore quicker. So it's a win-win. But if you have music in your mind, one second. So all this has a toll on the mind and on the memory. It takes away from your memory, music, movies, haram relationships, pornography is something that obviously affects the mind, social media, all these vices, smoking, drinking, whatever you're doing, is obviously any sin will affect the mind and the memory, and therefore will take away from your potential to excel in your HIFTH. So I hope that all makes sense, and I hope that was beneficial. And let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. And if you have any sort of advices for the people, they can benefit from your comment as well. Jazakumullah khairan. Thank you for listening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.